Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is a special Saturday edition of Mike's little Big Brother CarCast while he's driving someplace. I am driving to the World Series of Poker. Well, it's my little World Series of Poker. I have friends that I play cards with maybe once a month or so, but every year, once a year, we have a World Series of Poker tournament. And usually we do it early on in January, but it was postponed because of weather. So I am off on my way to potentially lose a chunk of money with some of my longtime friends playing about 5 to 6 hours of poker. So we'll see how it goes. It could be 2 to 3 hours of poker if I play badly. And I thought I would record this on the way. We have our podcast tonight, so this is, I'm going to talk about some stuff that we'll rehash on tonight's show, but you guys will get a preview of my thoughts on some of this stuff. And Scott is diligently working to grab some clips now. I just finished grabbing some clips. I grabbed some clips last night and grabbed a couple clips this morning. Definitely, I think on tonight's show, the majority of the clips will be pulled by Scott as opposed to by me. So I pulled a lot for the first show, but this show, not so many. I've probably pulled 5 or 6 or 7. So Jonathan got evicted as we totally expected. I thought Ricky might throw a weird vote, but he didn't. Ricky just voted along with everybody else. At one point, I guess Dina asked who Tamar voted for. It's like, or not, yeah, no, wait. Was it who Tamar? Anyways, Dina wasn't sure who voted for who was the one vote. It's like, you were the oddball vote. Everybody else voted. Kind of threw up some suspicion among the house guys about, wait a minute, was Dina lying? Was Dina bullshitting, thinking that she'd get people to think that she didn't vote for Candy? Because that's who Dina voted for. Everybody else voted for Jonathan. I don't know if that's the case or not, but if Dina was doing it, okay, valiant effort. If Dina didn't honestly have it figured out that she was the only one, then, Dina. The feeds came back. We were told that the head of household competition would start immediately after the show. Obviously, it didn't. It didn't start until 8. So 11:20 at night Eastern time. So like 2.5 hours, where they said 90 minutes shortly afterwards. That they said, it's going to be 90 minutes. Well, it was another hour after that. I mean, we were starting to get a little bit restless and ticked off, and what usually happens when they say one thing. The problem is that the people promoting the stuff is one group, and the people doing the stuff is another group. And the people that are doing the stuff really don't give that much of a care about perfect timelines other than the TV show. Anything else they're going to do when they're good and ready to do. And sorry that you promised everybody we'd be going at 9 o'clock. It isn't set up. It isn't working. We've got to fix a couple things, and it's going to be a while. I'm only guessing. I have no idea why it started late. I guess I could ping the one producer that interacts with us, but I don't want to put him on the spot, although he'd probably actually give me some kind of an answer. I probably could say, hey, we were told 9. Why didn't it go off at 9? He might say, yeah, there were problems and complications, and that's what happens when you're producing a show. And I would go like, okay. But it turned out to be a wall competition. Last year they were sitting on chairs. This year they were actually standing. Most of you probably know this. It was kind of like it was a rock and roll theme, a glam rock theme, I think is what Heath would say it was. Heath is one of the producers, and he mentioned that he's been listening to a lot of glam rock lately. And since it talked about, it had a couple of references to Pour Some Sugar on Me, so Def Leppard and Sticky Sweet. Was that off of? Well, I don't know. I guess that's Def Leppard. I don't know if you call Def Leppard glam rock. Those guys didn't really dress up, so maybe it was. I'd just say, I'd say heavy metal, but that's not really metal either. I'm not good at categorizing music. Big hair, hardish rock. What is it? It's called glam rock? I don't remember. All right, I'm moving along. they started out on the wall. They were all kind of dressed up, kind of like, looking the 80s or the now version of 80s, because, of course, as we all know, or if you don't know, if you're younger, look, what you see when you see people say, we're having an 80s party, everybody dress up, okay, that's the iconic version that everybody thinks of as the 80s. Not everybody dressed that way. Most people dressed kind of just regular and plain. Same goes, I can remember when I was in school, we'd have 50s days in junior high. I remember having 50s days, and one of the teachers was like, yeah, not everybody slicked their hair back and wore white t-shirts and jeans with the pants cuffs rolled up. That's not the way everybody dressed. That's just what you guys think of it as. And so that's, it's the same kind of thing. 80s, not everybody looked that way, but okay. So it's 80s theme. They have these huge hands holding up, like rock and roll fingers that they're holding grips behind. And so they're standing with their hands over their head, out in front of them a little bit, as opposed to by their sides, which that made a difference because they could lean against something as opposed to pulling against something. And that, I think, helped a couple of people last a little bit longer than I thought they would. So it started out, everybody's lasting, and they do they have a robotic thing out there, which I kind of almost wonder, they didn't. But I thought, they're doing that so that Ryan doesn't have to read as much, because Ryan's like all fearful about reading stuff. But the thing's reading stuff about, it says, pour some sugar on me. Okay, we get it. It said it's like rain. Well, and so the sugar, like, it's pouring sugar. The sugar falls on top of their heads. Big. They probably got at least 5 or 6 or 10 pound bags of sugar dumped over each one of their collective heads. And it made a dust storm of sugar. It was they did not go lightly on this set of house guests, and it was appreciated by the fans watching the show. It was watching the feeds. It was done well. So they got the sugar dumped on their heads, and then fast forward. I can't remember the things when people went out. And I'm just going to go quick highlights. They said jelly shots. Now I'm guessing, and I didn't get an answer, but I'm guessing. I was like, why are they saying jelly shots? It isn't jelly shots. It's Jell-O shots. Oh, well, that of course Jell-O is a trademark, so they probably didn't want to use a trademark and say it, so they said jelly shots. So they get sprayed with slime, really hard, completely coated. Matter of fact, at that point, I think that's when Tom and Candy went out. Well, boom. Tom went out first, then Candy, and you could see the space behind both of them where they'd been sprayed. Like it's the walls covered with green slime, except for these 2 silhouettes of people standing. So yeah, it was a good coating of slime. I believe they got beer dumped on their heads then, and I guess it was cups full of beer plus coasters. At first I thought they might have had lids inside little lids inside the cups so that the beer lasted while it was dropping, but I guess it probably was coasters. One coaster stayed on Joey's head the entire time. A couple of beer cups actually landed on like Tom's platform and didn't completely spill, so that was kind of picturesque. It was real beer, according to the house guests. The slime wasn't. It was kind of. They didn't say it had any real taste. Don't know what that was for sure. But remember, the slime was green slime. It was, and caused problems for Lolo. It's dyed her hair kind of green, and it hasn't come out completely yet. She's not too pleased, but apparently they were offered caps that they could wear to keep their hair from getting too messed up, and she declined. So, sorry, Lolo, that's what happens. So after the beer, the capper. Oh no! There's 2 more things. So, but this was still the biggest one. The next one was, they said sticky sweet, which is the pour some sugar on me. Right? That's in the same song, and maybe they'll do a Def Leppard. Maybe Def Leppard will say something, because those are both Def Leppard songs. It was like whipped cream out of a cannon, and it just coated the whole wall. You could not tell that there were people on the wall after the splat. It just looked like a wall of white splat. And then, when they kind of move a little bit, you'd realize, oh, there's actually a person right there. It was good. And they were not pleased, some of them. It was awesome. I'm just saying, this was an awesome competition. This is like the first time they did the blowing up bomb thing, where they would get completely splattered with the chalk, kind of boom, and you'd see. I mean, this was just like that kind of effect. It was like, oh my god, this is awesome. And the final thing that they got hit with was, I did not hear the lead-in because my feed's cut out and I didn't go back to watch it. But it was roadies. It was road crew or roadies. They said like that maybe the audience is on fire or there's a fire and they need to put it out. And so this group of people actually cast people walk out. Each of them carrying a big fire extinguisher, and they spray. It's just CO2 spray. They spray each house guest, and it was from a distance. And it'd be just really cold air, is what it would be the equivalent of being hit with. Really cold air. It looked kind of cool, but honestly, it wasn't like the whipped cream kind of thing. It would just, if nothing else, it was just cold. So they did that and walked off. Eventually, everybody dropped. I want to say for the record that I predicted, and I'll probably brag about this tonight, and I probably shouldn't, but I probably will at some point. I've got to say it thing will kick in, and I'll have to point it out and say, I called it. I said it was going to be the Final Four. Kato, Lolo, Joey, and who's the other light person that is not? Who's the other woman? Oh, Natalie. Yeah, so Natalie, Lolo, Kato, and Joey would be the Final Four, I was guessing, just based on their size, their weight, and how good a physical shape they seemed to be in. And sure enough, that was the Final Four. Then Joey dropped because Lolo apparently has had shoulder surgery, and her I don't remember, it was latrium or I don't know, one of her shoulders was really starting to hurt her, so she dropped. Joey had apparently the same excuse, that he had a surgery a year and a half ago, so he dropped. Came down to Natalie and Kato. They made a deal. Kato won it. So Kato's had a household, and it was a really good competition. At one point, and again, we will talk about this stuff tonight, Kato, they'd all heard Joey was bitching up a storm. He was just nonstop bitching. And I'm totally skipping over Tamar's fall. We will play that audio tonight and talk about it. That was classic. That was one for the ages. But Kato could hear Joey complaining and moaning and groaning and just wanting it to speed up and get it over with. He seemed to think that there was more, that they were going to lead him out further, or, he didn't understand that, no, this is an endurance competition. It's supposed to take some time. It's not, a 5-minute competition. So he just wanted it to be over, and he was just nonstop bitching and moaning. Kato says to Natalie, he says, hey, let's tell Joey he's safe if he drops. And so Kato says, look, Joey, if you drop, you're safe. And Dina goes, no, nobody drop, everybody stay. And Kato's like, oh, I see, I get it. And we'll play this clip tonight, what exactly has happened. But the gist of it was, his light bulb goes off, and Kato realizes, man, Dina does not trust me. And of course, Dina had been blindsided by Jonathan's eviction. The main people that had no idea that Jonathan was getting evicted, I don't know if, I'm going to guess that Joey might have had an inkling. I don't know if he was told or not, but Joey certainly was one of those most in the dark. And then Dina and Ryan did not know. So Dina and Ryan were completely blindsided, and maybe Dina suspected, but Ryan definitely was completely blindsided. But Dina was not happy that Jonathan got evicted, so she's on the warpath. So when Kato suggested to Joey that she jump, well, she knows Joey was blindsided too. So she's like, no, he's one guy that I kind of know is not happy about who got evicted. So I want him to stay. I don't want him getting it. She thinks, well, Jonathan went, wants to keep me from going next. I'm reading into her thoughts. And so Kato's like, oh, okay, I see where things stand, kind of a thing. And it's like, oh man, Dina just put a target on her back. So once Kato had a household, he said to Tom inside the house that he was going to go after Dina. We'll see if it plays out. Nominations will be sometime today. Now, we've been hearing that there was a live eviction on Monday. I don't know if that's the case or not. I don't know. I don't remember when it was mentioned. I don't remember when it was said. I don't remember the source. But I don't think Julie said it last night's show, did she? We'll talk about it tonight. But if it is, they're going to have to move through stuff quick. Boom, boom, boom. So the feeds might be down a lot over the weekend. Which, well, I guess in reality they don't care about feed watchers. But, it'd be nice if the feeds were up on the weekend when people are when most people aren't working and have a chance to see it. So that's what's going on. I don't know for sure. The plan originally had been to go after Ryan next, but you know what? Ryan is a big bulk of muscle and brains and physical comp. Not brains, I'm sorry, what I was saying. A big bulk of muscle, a physical comp threat, and now he's lost his number one. I don't know why you wouldn't want to kind of team up with him to kind of use that, to manipulate him. So, I don't know if he'll be the target. That was the plan, but I think Tamar's also on thin ice a little bit. And I pointed that out. I think, one of my theories is that I think that Natalie might have, in part, thrown the head of household to Cato, thinking that he might target Tamar, and that'd be a way to get Tamar out of the house without her being responsible for it. Sorry, I tried to talk him into it, but they want you out, Tamar, and then Tamar gets voted out, and it's not Natalie's fault, because Natalie and Ricky and Lolo kind of burned out by Tamar. They kind of yesterday during the day, or maybe Thursday, they kind of had enough. They were kind of like, God, she's a lot of work. So I don't know if they'd be too upset if she goes away, if they think they can still maintain an advantage in the house. And what if they pull Ryan in? If they trade out Tamar and get a Ryan, they're certainly getting someone who's less emotional and less and more pliable than Tamar. So that's what's up, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here. We do have our podcast tonight. Our regular, this is my car cast. Scott, Colette, and I do a podcast every Saturday night. That will be on at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So as it is right now, it's just about noon, which is when my poker game was supposed to start. So I'm late. Oh wait, I got a message. Oh, I'm going with. Oh, it's my son. Okay. Sorry, train of thought thing. 9 p.m. Eastern is when we do it. 6 p.m. Pacific. You guys can do the math for the rest of the world from those two times. And we tweet out the link. We do it live on an app called Mixlr, on a website called Mixlr, Mixlr. It allows you to chat. Some people complain about the interface and it doesn't work the best, but it works the best for us. And so it's what we stick with. And then we put it out on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, all the places that you could hope to find podcasts. Except Spotify, we're still working on that. Spotify's not nice to independent podcasts. They want big companies, so getting on there as an independent is kind of tough. Which those of you that are on Spotify right now, you're hearing me, but you won't hear our podcast, our Big Brother podcast. So sorry, you can find it another way though. There's lots of ways, lots of links and ways to get it on BigBrotherGossip.com or BigBrotherPodcast.com. Sorry, BigBrotherPodcast.com has tons of links to old shows, to the current show, lots of different ways to listen. Check it out. And I think I'm done. Oh, no, one last plug to be a patron. If you are not a patron, our podcast is completely 100% free. We do not have advertisers on it. We don't charge people to listen to it. Our Big Brother Gossip Show is free, and as far as I'm concerned, will always be free. Now, we do have people who choose to support us anyways, and we have different rewards if you choose to support us at different levels. Just a regular supporter, we appreciate you. We thank you. If you go up to certain levels, you get little perks. That's all on the Patreon website. You can go to patreon.com, patreon.com, search for Big Brother Gossip. Now, you may see me, you may see my car cast, but this is for the Big Brother Gossip show with Scott and Colette. And if you go to that, you can sign up to be a patron, and you can choose how much to donate. Now, we don't say this on the show, but frankly, you can do what I do. I am a patron of my own show. Okay, I am a patron. I pay myself every time we do a podcast. Well, not quite. The way I did it is I signed up to be a $1 patron. Now, that means for every podcast we do, in theory, I would pay $1. But within Patreon, you can also limit the total amount you want to spend. I limited myself to $1. So I really pay myself $1 a month. It'd be nice to get like $1 per podcast. It's going to cost you a whopping $4 a month if you want to do it that way. But you know what? If money's tight and you can't do it, then by all means, if you just want to do something, then hey, sign up, be $1 and do $1 a month. Or if you want to do a one-time donation, sign up for whatever amount you want to donate at the end of the month and limit yourself to that amount. At the end of the month, you will get charged that amount and then unsubscribe as a patron, and you will have made a one-time donation. A few hoops to jump through, but it is one way to kind of game the system and work the system if you want to just do a one-time, as some people do. We are only doing, I think, maybe 5 this time around. I was thinking 4, but I think we may do 5. So, if you say you want to sign up for even $1 a podcast, it's going to cost you $5 until regular Big Brother comes around. We don't do other podcasts. This is only when we do the Big Brother, when Big Brother season's going on. So people that have been patrons for a couple of years now, they only get charged when we're actually doing shows. It's not like there's charges going on, in November or December. It is just when we're doing shows. All right. I have talked longer than I meant to now. I am pulling into the driveway of the place, and my car, I'm driving on snow, so that was the anti-skid. So it's a snow-covered road. All right. I will talk to you guys later. So just hope to see lots of you tonight on the Big Brother Gossip Show. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.